Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Dark Knight Returns Medicom Mafex Batman figure. Really nice package, man. I quite like this. On the front here, we got a nice window display. We can see his hands, extra head sculpt, accessories, and the figure displayed nicely. We also have the Dark Knight Returns branding, as well as Mafex Medicom Toys branding, DC branding, and a nice photo of the figure on the bottom left. That looks really nice. If we rotate to the left side of the packaging, we can see Batman posed out nicely, as well as the Dark Knight Returns branding again. And then if we come around to the back of the box here, we can see the figure with multiple accessories, multiple poses, as well as a list of everything that he comes with written out in Japanese, as well as, again, company branding, the Dark Knight Returns branding, and some legalese. We come around to the right side of the packaging, we got Batman looking like he's ready to brawl, as well as all of the brandings again. And then on the bottom of the box here, if we take a look, we just have a bunch of legalese, our special sticker, and this is for ages 15 and up. All right, without further ado, let's crack this open, and I will be right back. All right, guys, so here he is all outside of the packaging. We have the Dark Knight Returns. From Mafex, man, this is what I'll say, like, just off first impressions, this guy, I like him a lot better than I like the Mezco figure. And the reason being, nothing against the Mezco figure. I had the PX previews. I didn't have this version. So the PX previews, if you don't know, is his powder blue and gray suit with the circle yellow and black bat symbol in the middle of the chest. Right. But what I'm noticing with this guy is the proportions is done very well, and you'll see that later on in the video. There's a couple other things too, like the cape is more accurate, the articulation I think is better, and overall the sculpt detail on the suit and everything like that, it's really reminiscent of the comics, even the animated movie that came out. Now, one thing that caught my eye as I was articulating this, the cape is crazy. It's got all these folds all throughout the cape, and it's so badass, man. If we come around to the back when he's articulated on the stand right here, that looks great. All right, take a look at this guy, man. Look at the shadow falling down the front of the sculpt. Doesn't that look really beautiful? They did a great job with all the wrinkles, all the detailing, all the sculpt work on this figure is superb, man. And I really mean it. Like, the wrinkles on here, they did an amazing job, not only around the torso, arms, but the legs are amazing. And you also get a lot of great shading around the legs. You can see a lot of gray washing going on, even a little bit of brown dry brushing going on. All in these wrinkles here, it's shaded properly, and that's really impressive for a $100 figure. You know, a 1/12 figure at that. And I know that in America it's a bit more expensive than overseas, but yeah, I mean, all the sculpt work, the detailing and everything is superb. I love the trunks, and they got wrinkles going on the trunks as well. That was another thing with the Mezco version that I didn't really like, and I felt like the trunks were a little bit off. They were a little bit too big, and that was due to the tailoring. But obviously that's a cloth figure. This is a sculpted figure, so you know, it's a big difference. And then with the boots here, you can see you got the accurate point that comes up in the front there, and that looks great. All the paint applications look great. On my sculpt, though, for the teeth showing one, you can see there's some flesh tone where it shouldn't be on the cowl there, but that's easy enough to get rid of that and just paint over it. But the sculpt work on the actual head sculpt is great. They did an amazing job with this. I do feel like maybe the Mezco sculpt was a little bit better than this, but like this, you know, your interpretation of the Dark Knight Returns kind of changes. Are you looking at the animated movie? Are you looking at the original Frank Miller comics? And he kind of changed a little bit between suits. So he's kind of always looked different throughout the story, just a little bit. So that being said, I think still they did a great job. My bat logo is great. It's nice, it's vibrant, and there's no like paint missing or anything like that. If I had one gripe, I don't know, I think the cowl area, like this plastic piece, and this is for the Hush figure too, I wish they could have just maybe come up with something different for that, but I don't know how they would have did it different and get it accurate to the comic like this. I don't know, it just kind of seems weird to me, but it's really not a big deal, man. It's really not. The cape, obviously, we talked about it a little bit before. Mine's a little bit wrinkled now because I have had it out and been messing with it. But as you can see, it's got all these folds all throughout the cape, and that looks really, really good. This time, there's not wires going throughout the cape. It's just one wire running across the front, okay? But this looks, I mean, this is really, really nice. And as well, you know, this is another thing they got right, is that his cape doesn't touch the ground. And that was definitely accurate for The Dark Knight Returns, at least for this suit. And they just nailed it, man. Oh, I didn't show you. Look at all the pockets and everything on the belt here. So you got nice sculpt work, and they hit it with like a brownish beige. But if you look close, you can see a lot of yellowish dry brushing, and then even some dark browns and grays and stuff like that. And that helps out bring out the detail within the sculpt work. Absolutely amazing, man. I was, you know, I didn't think that I would like this figure more than Hush per se. I think I like them both the same, and for the most part, that's how it is. But I think between both of them, this guy so far takes the cake. All right, guys, let's talk about accessories. And so first things first, you get these batterings, right? And these are super small, so I'm going to use these tweezers here to help you get a better look. So that is the battering. You get 8 of these total, right? Which is really cool because let's talk about hands real quick. So I can tell you. All right, so you get a right and a left of these battering holding hands, and essentially you can fit a battering between each finger and then the thumb right there. And this is really cool because to me it's more realistic than just sculpting a hand with batterings coming out. I actually like this a little bit more because I don't know, it feels organic, right? Just it feels natural to me. I don't know, it's really cool. And therefore you get 8 batterings so that you can have the right and left hand loaded up with batterings ready to go. Then you get a couple of other hands. You get 2 fists that come on him, obviously. You get 2 open grabby hands, and what I mean by grabby hands is these are kind of like reaching hands. I always associate these to like a fighter measures distance by holding his hand out to his opponent and then strikes. That's kind of how I measure these. Or he's just gliding through the air and he has his hand out like he's getting ready to grab a villain or something like that. And then you get another 2 hands like that. So these right here, and this was a signature look of his in the comics, the middle finger and the ring finger touching each other, and then the other hands spread out like so. So you get these as well. And then, last but certainly not least, you get the head sculpt that actually came on him. The one I have on him right now is the grinning sculpt, and that was the extra head sculpt in the packaging. This is the one that came on him. So this is the regular head sculpt, if I could get that to focus. And it looks good, man. I have no gripes with it. Mine is painted pretty damn good. I do got some flesh tone showing right there, but that's easy enough to touch up and fix. And yeah, overall, man, the sculpt is nice. What I'll do for you, though, real quick, is pop this one off and then pop that one on. And for the ball joint here, you can see you get a regular Mafex ball joint, super tiny. All right, and then there is the sculpt on Batman, and that looks really, really good, man. He looks mean, he looks menacing, he looks like a brute. All right, so I'm messing with the pose real quick that I want to show you guys. Basically the battering holding hand in action, and maybe he's sneaking around a corner real quick, sneaking up on the mutants, ready to stab them with these batterings, and that is beautiful right there, man. I believe we can just get him to stand on his own. If we take a look at that real quick, that's really, really nice. All right, guys, time for my least favorite segment, and that is articulation. Why is it my least favorite? Because frankly, man, I suck at doing this. So let's talk about the articulation real quick with this guy. For the head, you do get a double joint. Well, not a double joint. You get a neck piece, right? That's on a ball joint, and then you get this peg that is super awkward, man. And they're always stuck in there and super tight. So the thing is that's a great system and what allows for a lot of range and movement. But with this collar piece right here, it restricts it. So it's kind of like it kind of like defeats the purpose in a sense. For the arms here, the shoulders, they are on a butterfly system, so you can get them up about that much, and then they rocker back and forward so that you can get the arms kicked out all the way in front of him, which is super important. Then you get, obviously, 360, and they drop down to where you can get the arms directly next to his side here. And that's really important because I hate when you have a figure and he's super bulky and the arms sit like this, and they look unnatural, you know. So I quite like that. Then you just get double joint for the elbow there, and he's bulky, so you don't get too much range. And then the bicep is on a swivel, as you can see there. For the hands, you get a rocker, so back and forth, and then just a ball. So it's a hinge and swivel like that. Now most of the hands stay on there super tight, but I've been swapping out these fist hands, so they're kind of loose now. And then for the abdominal here, you do get some movement at the waist, not much, as you can see there, and he does go side to side. For this diaphragm joint, you don't get back much, right? So he'll go back about that much right there. But forward, man, look at this forward. You can really crank this, and you get this guy to look all the way down, which is really cool. And then when you bring that back up, you can get him to go side to side a little bit, which is nice. For the legs here, you do get the system that drops down like so that you can kick the leg all the way out in front of him and get him in the pose that you need. And it does sit right in front of him like that. Double jointed knees, of course. No swivel at the thigh or a boot cut, anything like that. That kind of sucks. And then you get a nice hinge for the foot here, and you can get that to go all the way up and down, and then you get articulation at the toe. As far as doing the splits, I think you can. If we kick this out like so. So, yeah, I mean, maybe not all the way, but pretty damn close. It does suck that there's no thigh swivel. I do prefer that. But you know what? With a system like this, I think making that cut right there, I don't think it's necessary for this figure. I think you can get just as much articulation with it. All right, guys, so I did sell my Mezco Dark Knight Returns figure, so I don't have it for a comparison, but I do have the next best thing, and that is the Mezco Supreme Knight Batman. And the Supreme Knight Batman is just a tad bit taller than the Dark Knight. And but look at these guys, look great together. And this is what I mean, though. I love the proportions more on the Mafex version, and I think that's a little easier to do with a sculpted figure rather than a cloth figure. But nonetheless, these guys look dope together. And that is a wrap. That is my review for the Dark Knight Returns Medicom Mafex Batman action figure. Let me know what you think about this figure in the comment section below. A couple of new things, man. We're getting a Hush Joker from Mafex to go with their Hush line, and that is super, super cool. I'm really happy that Mafex is really focusing on these two comic lines for Batman right now, and hopefully they'll do more. Obviously, they just announced that they're going to do the Batman from the New Adventures of Batman. So hopefully we can get maybe some Robins from the animated series. Hopefully we can actually get the original animated Batman, maybe a Batman Beyond. But what I'm looking forward to most, and I really hope they announce this, you know, they're doing all these Dark Knight Returns figures, and we're getting Joker next month in November, or 2 months from now. I want an armored Batman, right? We don't have a 6-inch armored Batman that's aesthetically pleasing, has articulation, and a bunch of accessories, right? I think that would be right up Mafex's alley, since they're focusing on all these two lines particularly, Hush and the Dark Knight Returns. Obviously, they just announced Carrie and Batman, which is Robin and Batman, and that's him in his powder blue. bat suit. So yeah, I mean, listen, dude, I'm getting every single figure in these lines because I've wanted these for years. So when I get them, we'll be taking a look at them on the channel. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about this figure. Also, let me know what figures you're looking forward to. Do you want to see an armored Batman from this line? I just think that it's something that we don't have yet, right? We don't, like, Mattel did one, and it was pretty trash. And then other than that, like, you can't even get a 1/6 scale comic accurate armored Batman, right? You can get the one from BVS, but not from The Dark Knight Returns. And I think that's something that collectors all over the world would want, and at least that's my opinion. But let me know what else you're excited to see come out from Mafex or other figure companies this year or in the years to come. Anyways, guys, I will see you in the next video. If you made it this far, please hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time, stay safe out there. Peace.